So now, data economy, the future of Filecoin with, or the future of data economy with Filecoin. There are many words to unpack there. There's future, there's data, there's economy, there's Filecoin. So what is the future? Maybe I should ask that question. Let's make it interactive. Can anybody tell me what is the future? Please. I love feedbacks. What's the future, sir? Okay. I asked you answered like a Nigerian, right? I just asked a question that what is the future? Can anybody give me another answer? What is the future, sir? In 2 sentences. I know that you get you have a lot of vibes. So in 2 sentences, yeah, I can hear you. Fire on. What is what? Subsequent. Break that down. I don't like using big English. I'm sorry, sir. What is ahead? So how do you know what is ahead? Let's go logical. How do you know what is ahead? What is ahead is determined by what is being done in the present, yes or no? It is a prediction of occurrence based on today's input, based on yesterday input. Nigeria is where we are now based on what? Yesterday inputs. Right. So when we're talking about the future, we are not really saying certainty. It is not certainty, but we are saying based on what we are doing now, based on what we have. So now, what is data? What is data? What is data? Let's make this interactive. What is data? What is data, please? What is data? Information. That is still cumbersome. What is data? Please celebrate this man. Please give. You are. Bro, is this working? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's to face them. God, right? So data is an aunt, right? And it's trying to be important. Data is life. Data is the reason why the system can predict you and say this is what you're going to, based on what? Based on what you've been interacting on, right? And sorry, I'm having an issue with this. Okay. Is it 180 degree? I'm seriously struggling, sir. Please help me. Should I bend it? Okay, so please, someone, please help me. So what I did, then you are making an inference from that information, right? It is telling you something based on what you've gathered, right? I would have loved this to be. I worked as a developer advocate, community manager, and know more about the deep stuffs about the blockchain. The blockchain is deeper than what we talk on the surface. Execution client, consensus client. There are a lot to unpack. Future data economy Filecoin. Now, the future basically is just a period of time that, because sometimes we sound too confident, but then stuffs happen. Human beings always forget that events that ChatGPT would come out as at 2022 and develop faster. What you have to do is just plug in the Figma link and it gives you all the code. It's that fast. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Right? So it's just possibilities. This is just story. So what is data? Data is the new oil, meaning you can mine data. Yes or no? We mine oil, or do we mine oil? Like we try. In today's world, data is the most valuable asset. I know, because of the part of the world where we are, people think data is not that important, but I promise you, it's the most valuable asset. It is how you can be predicted. It is how of the right. And data is a tool for enhancing intuition. We can see that data is that important. People queue for data. Right? Now, according to IDC estimate the data sphere will grow to by 2025. So imagine literally to reach the moon. That's how much data we are creating per second. With the advent of videos, audios common, it is now in a faster rate. I'm sure it will be more than this by 2025. Now, what is economy basically? Economy just refers to a system by which goods and services are consumed within a community. It just shows the activities around the management of a resource. And this time we're talking about data as that resource, right? So economy involves various, includes operates at multiple levels. What is data economy? Refers to the economy system where data is the key resource. Practically everything we are doing today involves data. Practically everything we are doing today involves data. The advent of the World Wide Web was the advent of putting data on the net. Web 1, static website, just writing. Web 2, interactive, videos, audios. Web 3, what are we doing? It is semantic, right? So, in the data economy, data is treated as the valuable asset that needs to be collected first, then analyzed, and also traded. People trade our data legally, illegally, on dark web, on open web. Data are being traded. Somebody was talking how that all they need is just a name. They get your name. However, you go, you use. I don't want to mention. You go to eateries, you use all of those, see that name and move more. Using your name is grab that record. They come to arrest you and you're like, I don't know. It's a monopoly. And what happened is that the data monopoly happened in a very subtle way. These big corporations that I don't want to mention their name created data servers, right? And they told you that you can use our system. And while using our system, what do? You register with your name. Either you're African or you're Hispanic, Latino. Come out to you. It doesn't. So they are collected, analyzed. Somebody can analyze that data and know that between this time to this time, hi Emmanuel, go to this place. Between maybe 7 on a Sunday, blah, 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 you're in church, blah, 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 blah. And traditional generation, collection, like I said, digital platforms, technologies, and network. So what are the participants in the data economy? That's very important. Before we move to that, the data aggregators. Under the data aggregators, that's where we have guys like the data brokers. Literally, the way you have traders, brokers, there are people who also are called data brokers. Data processors and analysts, businesses and enterprises who buy those data, right? Technology developers, people who use those data, regulators and policy makers who make policy for the distribution of those data, the consumers, obviously, and even investors. How many of us have tried to build a startup and you're trying to pitch it somewhere? What do the investors, what do they want to get from you? Statistics. They want statistics from you. You are saying 50% of Africa or 70% of African are unbanked. How did you get the data? How do you get that data? People buy it, then query it, right? Think of Filecoin like, I would say, replacement of decentralized cloud services that we have. Think of any cloud service. I don't want to mention names. Think of any cloud service. So, decentralized and distributed way, right? So what is Filecoin basically? It is storage for decentralization, distribution. Distribution is very important, right? When data are stored, they are split to different. You retrieve the data from the nearest play. Now, Filecoin was Bennett. Check what Filecoin is doing with Filecoin Green, Filecoin Foundation, IPFS, NFT Factory, and other stuff here. Storage that turns into an algorithmic market. We'll talk about that. Now, Filecoin is a little like Dropbox, but powered its marketplace that promises to revolutionize the global storage economy. It is more than a network, obviously. It lays the groundwork for market store and to retrieve data. Compete with hotels. We allow any willing and able storage provider to join this storage network. This is where community is involved and offer their storage for sale. So think about it. The supercomputers. because it's going to be very, very hot. You need cooling machine that must run 24/7, because if it does not run, what do you call it? It could be a top. It could be a sip like the boss from Neat Up mentioned, that you can offer for storage and you will be getting paid to offer that storage. How? Don't worry, we're going to get there. Now, I'm supply and price is coming, right? When there's a greater supply, what happens to price? Price goes down. When there's a greater demand, what happens to price? Price goes up, right? We see that in the blockchain. When there's a lot of volume on the Ethereum mainnet, what happens to price? Boom, goes gas fee is up. When there are less, how many of you do transaction at night? You do it, you wait till night because you believe, obviously, that they are in GMT. So in the case of Filecoin, if you have extra storage and computing power, you may be willing to provide it to others for a fee. One, that is you. Why those that are seeking data storage are willing to, and somebody who wants to store, right, is paying you to store. And this is where the file token comes into place, because the file token is now that medium of payment, market clearing transaction. Value is moving to one person in form of the data, leaving one person in form of file token, value commodities. As a global digital marketplace, choose action. What is that currency for transaction globally? It is USD, right? USD, right? So, but in the Filecoin ecosystem, it is the field token called Filecoin. And Filecoin is a permissionless market with a cryptographically verifiable good. Design constraints could also be satisfied with a medium of exchange. It acts as what we call money. Money is medium of exchange, right? Facilitating transaction and production activities as a currency. The token also acts as a storage value, obviously. So now this is a chart that economy work with Filecoin. So here you are wanting to store a data. So you are proposing a deal. Somebody is accepting a deal at the price that you are proposing. You are proposing a deal with a price. Somebody is accepting. If you see just by the bottom, there's the X. So one of the storage provider is rejecting the price. One is accepting the price, right? The one who accepts the price, you transfer the data and they are encrypted, right? Then when they are encrypted, the encryption, which is the seal section, occurs. When the encryption occurs, this person is paid. Kind of blurry. This person is paid in field token. It is stored, obviously, this is how blockchain is, right? What is blockchain? Chains of block, yes or no? Blocks store old data. They are chained together by cryptography, right? Or such that the hash of the, what do you call it? So there's Genesis and the children, right? The new hash. Also, when you want to retrieve that same data, this is the person coming to retrieve the data. The person is going to be giving field token, paying in field token to retrieve your data. Somebody is laughing. So this is how it works. Usually when you want to get it, you do the same thing. So basically, that chart is showing that a client proposes a deal to the miner. Miner accepts the deal. Data transfer or seals the deal, store the deal into sectors. Miners prove that they've stored it and they are earning block reward. And whenever the clients want to retrieve file, the client retrieve it from the miners and also pay. So who are the participants in the Filecoin ecosystem? Firstly, we have the storage market. Remember I mentioned about storage and retriever. Storage market. The storage miner offers their digital storage. In the retriever market, the clients pay Filecoin to retrieve their data from those miners. And basically, these are people who hold Filecoin token that pay in the system. These are basically, they are like participants, the clients, miners, ecosystem partners, token holders, and developer. I'll be dropping this on my Twitter, so if you need this slide, you can always check it on my Twitter account. Then what then is the future of data economy? With Filecoin and verifiable storage protocol verifies whether the client. Number two is upward for storing somebody. That middleman, that's that to use this miner because its price is higher, you can use the next miner. Very flexible. And basically, it is because you on the storage side, Filecoin is built on community by the community. What do I mean? You and I can participate. You and I can be on the storage side or the people on the retrieval side, right? And that is the end of my talk. So for me, the future of data economy is decentralized.
As a user of Filecoin, for example, I'm going to need to pay a fee to put my data on a node, and also pay a fee to retrieve it. So how is that better than the conventional alternatives?
The conventional alternative, number one, have you tried to use AWS?
I haven't.
Okay. So the conventional alternative is that they bill you based on how much you have stored, and sometimes it increases per month, right? It increases per month, or also electricity that they are using, the storage, whatever. Many of them increase the storage capacity per month, per year. So that's what you're paying for. But basically, because every transaction on the blockchain involves money. That's a transaction to store. You're doing a transaction to retrieve.
You'd have to pay to use the blockchain, for example.
Yeah.
Because if there's no payment infrastructure in place, then we can run the risk.
Why will you incentivize the miners?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And
yeah.
But my question would be, I think I'm much more concerned about how practical it is. Do you understand my point?
Okay.
So now it's different if let me even ask this question. Now you mentioned the other time that you can choose which node you want to store your data.
Yes, which miner, because every miner they set their storage fee. So if I say, somebody can say, to store this volume of data, I'll take 1 ETH. Somebody can say, I'll take 0.5 ETH. So you can, or 0.5 fil. Sorry, I said ETH. And you can go for the 0.5 fil because that's your budget.
All right. So the thing is, okay, say you're running a Filecoin node right now, and then say I'm a startup founder. I'm looking to use decentralized services to host all of my data. So I pay you some fee to get access to space on your own particular node you're running. So now what happens? I think
you can't get access to my own particular node. Remember, decentralized and distributed. So it is distributed.
I thought you mentioned that you can pay the miner.
Yes, you can pay the miner.
Will he be storing it on his own node?
Not only, everything is not going to be on its own. It will be distributed.
To be distributed?
Yes, it's a distributed network. Okay. Also, as much as it's decentralized. All right. Do you get what I mean?
I think I understand you.
The reason for the distribution is so that when you want to retrieve your data, you can retrieve from the nearest. I kept mentioning that the nearest node or the nearest storage provider.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why it has to be distributed. Else, you can go and store with somebody in the US, right? And you now have to draw from that. But with the distribution, you can distribute. You can get from somebody maybe in North Africa here, because it has been distributed. There's an algorithm for the distribution, right? So if it's 1 terabyte that you want to store, that 1 terabyte is not staying on. It's just like blockchain, Ethereum. How does the client update? When you want to join an Ethereum network now as a node operator, depending on what you want to do, you might want to do archival node, you might want to do full node or light node. When you install the client, the software, it updates all of the record that's happened on that blockchain from Genesis. Let's assume it's full node that you are doing. It updates it will take a lot of time. So that means every record is not only on one person's story. Every record is on different nodes, right? Okay. It's just the principle of the blockchain, but now in storage.
So if I get it correctly, if let's say I'm a startup founder in Lagos right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to pay the nearest.
No. You're going to have to pay the cheapest.
The cheapest.
But the data being stored is distributed such that when you want to retrieve it, you can retrieve it from the nearest.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I think I get it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, my sincere apologies. Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel.
Yeah, thank you very much,
I know
guys.
people have questions, but please, we're going to have to refer you to the handles. So please, you can just drop your questions at Filecoin Nigeria, or Filecoin Africa. And you could just use the hashtags Phil Builders, Phil Lagos 2024, or Phil Innovators. We'll actually have that up on the screen for you at some point, but I hope you can hear me. So, the long-awaited discussion.